Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Calvin Tobin Show. I am your host, Calvin Tobin. Today we have a lot to talk about, so let's get right into it. All right. As the 2022-2023 NBA and NHL offseason have come to a close, with the Denver Nuggets winning the NBA Finals in 5 games and the Las Vegas Golden Knights winning the Stanley Cup in 5 games as well, over 2 Florida teams in the Miami Heat and the Florida Panthers, and these 2 teams had their own Cinderella story to get all the way to the championship, and now we are at the offseason of both the NBA and the NHL, and we are off to a hot start for what we have seen happen already. With the NHL offseason, their offseason started yesterday, and as usual, the NHL has the busiest offseason out of every single sport there is, because there is something new happening every single hour. Now, with the NHL offseason starting, here are some of the biggest contracts that have been given out so far. For starters, the New York Islanders are keeping their veteran goalie in Elias Urkin, as he just signed an 8-year, $66 million deal, and he will be averaging just over $8 million a year with the Islanders for the next 8 years. Now, the biggest contract that has been given was given to Timo Meier by the New Jersey Devils, and they signed him to a 8-year, $70.4 million deal, and he's going to be averaging just under $9 million a year at 8.8. Now, the offseason has been only going on for 2 days, and we already have 2 teams that are the front runners starting their offseason out with a bang, making the most impact for their team. And these 2 teams are the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Carolina Hurricanes. With the Pittsburgh Penguins, they made 2 key signings in re-signing their veteran goalie in Tristan Jarry to a 5-year, $26.8 million deal, while upgrading their defense in signing Ryan Graves to a 4-year, $27 million deal. With the Carolina Hurricanes, they're the ones that have made the biggest impact so far, even though the offseason just started, because they signed 2 huge players in Michael Bunting and Dmitry Orlov. Michael Bunting is a young stud in this league that Carolina can help upgrade his game from a 20-goal season scorer to a 30-goal season scorer, maybe even 40. And while they did that, while signing Michael Bunting, they also decided to upgrade their defense by adding another defenseman in Dmitry Orlov, and because of them adding Dmitry Orlov, the Carolina Hurricanes are going to be one of the, if not the toughest team to score on going into the 2023-2024 NHL season, because now the Carolina Hurricanes have 4 guys that can get them 100 blocks in a season if need be. And here's the thing, the Carolina Hurricanes, they're Stanley Cup they're Stanley Cup ready, and they are Stanley Cup worthy as well, because if it wasn't for Florida having a miraculous playoff run and surprisingly sweeping the Carolina Hurricanes would have been the one facing the Las Vegas Golden Knights in the Stanley Cup, and who knows how that series would have went. But anyways, as for the NBA offseason, it started over the weekend, and what we have seen over the weekend is tons of players get overpaid, tons of players get underpaid, and we saw one guy change the trajectory of his career forever, and because of his decision, we might finally see this dude start winning depending on where he goes. Now, with the players that got overpaid this weekend, the two of the biggest ones are Kyle Kuzma, because he got paid a 4-year, $102 million deal, and we all know, as NBA fans, that Kyle Kuzma is not worth $102 million for what he has produced in his career. And the biggest overpaid guy is LaMelo Ball, because he got paid on a 5-year deal, and he's getting paid $260 million in totality. LaMelo Ball is not, or at least neither one of these guys is deserving of this money, especially LaMelo Ball, because he has only been in the league for 3 years, has only played one full season, and has been dealing, even though it's only been 3 years, he's still dealing with injuries, scoring 19.1 points a game, and with all this, he is still yet to prove that he can help lead the Hornets to be a winning team. Now, with LaMelo Ball's $200 million contract, that was just one of the $200 million contract that was signed over the weekend. And after Friday, it has been set in stone that Draymond Green will be finishing his career in Golden State, because he has said on podcasts before that he wants to play for 15 years and then he's done. He just finished up his 11th season with Golden State. He was a free agent, and the Golden State Warriors got him back on a 4-year, $100 million deal. So it looks to be that Draymond Green is going to retire a Warrior, and the Dallas Mavericks are also sticking with Kyrie Irving as they signed him to a 3-year, $126 million deal. Now the other $200 million contracts that were signed over the weekend were Domantas Sabonis' 5-year, $217 million deal with the Sacramento Kings. Then Desmond Bane signed a 5-year, $207 million deal with the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, out of all the contracts that have been signed over the weekend to start off the offseason of the NBA, which one of these contracts that these players signed is going to make the biggest impact? It's to me, it's between the Sacramento Kings and the Memphis Grizzlies signing Domantas Sabonis and Desmond Bane, because both of these teams are young. They're getting their feet wet in the NBA and their feet wet in the playoffs, because the Kings, they just got their first playoff appearance for the first time in 16 years. And the Grizzlies, the only thing that's missing from them is straight up experience, because this team has won 50 games in a season. This team is proving to us that they can actually go deep in the playoffs. They just need to stay healthy and out of trouble. Because with the Memphis Grizzlies, they just need 2 or 3 more years of experience with this group, and this team will be competing for an NBA title. Now, the biggest news out of everything in the NBA that has happened since the NBA Finals, and that is Damian Lillard requesting a trade from the Portland Trail Blazers. And with him requesting a trade from the Portland Trail Blazers, his choices of where he wants to go is going to be the Miami Heat, or the Brooklyn Nets. Now, before Damian Lillard gets traded, with what he did in Portland, Damian Lillard was going to go down as one of the greatest players to never win a championship, because we all know as NBA fans that if he stayed in Portland, because we all know how much he wanted to win a championship for Portland, but we all knew that no matter how hard he tried, he was never going to win a chip with what he had in Portland. Now, with Damian Lillard wanting to go to the Miami Heat or Brooklyn Nets, with either team, if he gets to go to either one of those teams, the Miami Heat and the Brooklyn Nets, both of those guys are going to have to get a 3rd or 4th team involved to be able to complete this trade, because no matter what Miami or Brooklyn gives up, they do not have enough draft capital to repay Portland the favor of what Damian is truly worth. Now, with Damian Lillard potentially going to the Miami Heat or Brooklyn Nets, let's say, just for right now, hypothetically, that he doesn't go to those teams, this is what I think Portland should do. And they said they were going to try and help and accommodate him to get to that new team as well. This is what I think Portland should do. That right now, all Damian wants to do is win. He doesn't care about the money. All this dude just wants to do is win. What I think Portland should do is what they should do is they should get as many teams on the phone as possible to see what they're able to get for Portland, but do it from a winning team, because Damian Lillard deserves that completely. He deserves to be put on a winning team that has a chance at winning a title. And then if that happens, we are able to see how far Damian Lillard can truly take that team and see how good he truly is since being stuck in Portland and not being able to show his true talent and on how good he really is or how good he really can be when he is with a winning team. Alright, that's the end of the Calvin Tobin Show. Please subscribe to my channel at Calvin Tobin Show so you don't miss out on any sports media. And please follow me on Instagram at Calvin Tobin Show so you don't miss out on any sports news whatsoever. And I'm out.